Morning everybody, it's just gone 5:30. Super Kiwi and myself, we've made an earlier start because the weather forecast now is perfect and we're going to climb. I'm not sure how high we're going to climb because there's actually the Te Matawai Trail showing in 2 locations, but we'll see what happens when we get up to the tops. But we're hoping for some really nice views. That's why we've gone with the early start, but we'll check in when there's a bit more light and we'll explain more later. See ya. So we couldn't see it yesterday because this big hill on the right here, that's all we could see from the hut. But just to the left of it there, you can start to see this is the peak we're going to summit today. The one with all the scree down it. So probably just going to go straight up that ridge. I'm not sure in the middle of my screen if that's the high point or if that's a false summit and we sort of drop down and go up again. But I'm sure we'll work it out when we get up there. As you can see though, not a cloud in the sky. Hopefully it stays like that by the time I get to the top. Fingers crossed. And if we look down here, we can see the hut. Just tucked in there. And this other one in the middle of the screen, that's actually the toilet, fair way away from the hut. I'm pretty sure this is our little Rintle on the left here. And good old Mount Rintle on the right, which sat in cloud the whole time we were up there, the bugger. Anyway, it is what it is. We're going to get a good view today, I can just feel it. Well, the rock hopping started already. That's our track up. And you just see now, just through that V, that's the start of the little ridge. And then it gets a little bit steeper up to that summit. So starting to see the path up now. Now I can start to see a bit more where we're heading. You can see some of the orange marker poles down here. And another one in the background. If I come back out again, you might be able to see it. There's another little marker pole and a little triangle on this hill. Probably a bit far away for the camera. We're going to sidle up here. And we certainly hang a right and we come up here. I don't know if we come all the way to the top of this one. We might go over in that saddle just in the middle of my screen, so might have been Drama Queen Ray there. Now I've got up and I can see a bit more, but either way, it's going to be awesome. I'm just praying this cloud stays away. Shouldn't take me that long, maybe another hour or so I can start getting up to there. Those first rays of sun, always nice. We're getting close to the saddle now. If we zoom in here, we can actually see the marker pole going over the top. It's a little bit blurry on the camera. It's right there in the middle of my screen. I think that's my last little look at Mount Rintle. Pretty sure that one's Mount Rintle. And just down there, that's that little marker pole. And here we go over that saddle I showed you. So I'll wander up here and let's see what we get to see on the other side. We'll be able to work out where we're going a bit more now too. Oh man. Woohoo! How good is this? Far out. So lucky. Look at that. Just more ranges as far as we can see. Just gorgeous. So we can start to see where we're going now. You can see a couple of marker poles just up here and another one over here. So we're heading over in that direction. We're not at the highest point yet, but I'll do a couple of screen captures. I'll show you the elevation, but I'll also show you the TA map, and this is sometimes what you're faced with. There's two lines showing the Te Matawai Trail. The dark black line's generally what you follow, but there's a dotted line showing us going a little bit higher and a bit further off course. So I'm not sure which trail the elevation profile is following, but we'll find out as we go through. Here comes the Super Kiwi. She'll probably get up here and say, oh, sorry I was slow, I took too many photos. Yeah, those sunrise photos were pretty good though, I took too many myself. Well, these guys are right on the trail. Don't know how tame they are. See how close we get. Anyway, we can start to see where we're heading now. As you go up this one here, and over there, that's our high point up there somewhere. Yeah, this is just amazing. Okay, it's getting a bit clearer view where we're going now. We're actually going up this ridge here. And I think we must come up and over this one to the left. This is the one I showed you this morning, and I thought we might be going up. But we're not doing that one. I think we duck over to the left of it. So not quite at the high point yet. We'll keep going, we're almost there though. Alright, so it's pretty clear where we're going now. This is a orange marker up here. And the track actually sidles along, it doesn't go over that peak. You can start to see in the scree here, there's a bit of a track across. So I'm going to sidle across that scree. And when we get to the other side, just down in this mountain range here, or just by that peak, there's another little marker just in here somewhere, and a bit of a track up and over. So we sort of duck over in that saddle. There's another marker over there, but it won't show up on the camera. We might just duck over to the right of that little peak right in the middle of my screen, or through that saddle there somewhere. We'll work it out when we get over there. Well, here we are, the highest point for today's hike, and the weather's just turned it on for me. This is just amazing, and we're going right down now, and this is probably going to be our last look at the ocean until we get down the bluff. Just stunning. And I've got a little bit of reception here, so I'm actually going to have my first ever go at doing a short and see if I can get that to upload. See ya, bye. Well, so grateful I've got the views I got today. I'm about to drop back into the tree line very shortly. I don't know if you can just see it down the hill here. Almost want to cry. I just want to enjoy this all day on the tops. But hey, I've got all Nelson Lakes and that coming. I've got so much of the Southern Alps in this South Island in New Zealand. I know I'm going to get a lot more of this. So really looking forward to it and glad I can share it with everybody. Well, I'm just before kilometre mark 1935, and if you wanted to push on from upper Wairoa Hut, but you didn't think you could get all the way to Hunters, great little two spots here really. You could get a tent in here nice and easy. Well, that's where we've come from. You can recognise the peak up here. I didn't go over that peak, but just in that little saddle right in the middle of the screen, that was the high point. That's where I tried my first ever short, because I had reception up there. Wished my mum a belated happy birthday. Caught up with my wife and my kids. Oh, what an awesome moment that was. I'll remember that for the rest of my life. And here we go, heading our way down. Still keep popping out of the trees and getting these awesome views. So this has been a real highlight today. Can still see the peak we've come from. There it is up there. And lovely little spot now, just following this little stream down. And just every now and then you just get this big rock formation sitting here. And just beautiful weather today still. Just look at that blue sky. Yeah, I've just seen it for the first time. And there's the target. Hunter's Hut. Up the hill there. We're about to cross this little river. And somewhere around here, hopefully I can find them. We should find some hut foundations from an old hut called Bush Edge Hut. And I'll explain the significance of those. Hopefully I can find them. Maybe they're just up on the other side there. Pretty sad story, but we'll go and see what we can find. So I just put up a couple of photos of some tin and a bit of timber framing. And that's what's left of the original Bush Edge Hut. And there were two dock workers. They were obviously professional hunters. And yeah, the hut was obviously, this was the water source, the river we've just crossed. And there was a flash flood that came down and they both lost their lives. So it just goes to show, you know, everybody goes to work and they're just doing their job. They're at work and they never got to go home. And you just wouldn't think, looking at the amount of water in this river at the moment, that it could flash flood and wipe out an entire hut, take it off its foundations, but it did. And that's why the next hut, I've got to walk up the hill to that hut. I showed you it up on the hill. That's why they put it way up on the hill, and it's built in memory of those two workers. So hopefully, I'm sure there'll be a memorial or something in the hut for them. I'll get a photo of it if there is. And it just really brings back memories and thinking about, you know, all these hut builders and all these dock workers and that did so much for us. And I've always got a soft spot for them because my dad was a dock worker. He was a professional hunter when he first came to Australia in the 1950s and 60s. And he often tells me tales about living in a tent weeks on end. The highlight was the food drop when the helicopter had come in with more food. And one thing I always remember him doing as a young kid, he said they could never have milk because it just would go off. So they'd drop them in cans of condensed milk. And he used to sit on the couch, get his can opener and put 2 holes in it. And I don't know, but he used to sit on the couch and just drink straight condensed milk because that's what he used to do in the bush. And my mother used to think it was disgusting. She'd always tell him off and he'd always take another mouthful and go, ah, that's good. So Mum didn't tell him off too often because she knew what the response would be. But yeah, it just makes me proud of me dad as well and what he used to do and for a living and how he used to live. And just a shout out to Robin from Robin's Te Aroa Trail. He's the one I recognise and he was doing that trail magic. And he put a comment on my channel about an old film on the making of Te Matawai Hut. And I had just watched that when I was at the Pelorus Bridge campsite. Really good, and it just gives you an insight into these old guys, these old dock workers, the sort of thing my dad used to do. And I tell you, I'll put a link to it after today's video and go and check it out. It's kind of funny in a way to see a helicopter pilot flying in with all the stuff underneath with a cigarette sticking out of his mouth. And then they decided the workers are in there for 7 weeks, so they flew the dogs in too. And then come these hunting dogs walking around inside the helicopter, not in a cage, standing on the pilot's lap as he flies them in. They're all smoking. One guy's smoking while he's starting a chainsaw. That's a no-no these days because the ashes could drop on the chainsaw, and if someone spilt fuel, putting fuel into it, it could catch fire. And the jokes in this documentary, it was done in 1974. I mean, these guys would give Kurt Fenton a run for the money with his bale of hay joke. So if you want a real look into some history, I'll put the link and go check out this YouTube video. And thanks, Robin, for mentioning it. I really enjoyed it. But I do give you a warning. Back in 1974, when this was made, we weren't living in the politically correct manner we live in now. There's some pictures of the guys sitting in their temporary accommodation while they built the hut with some pictures on the wall in the background. I think you'll know what they're of. But anyway, don't let your kids watch it. If you want to have a bit of a chuckle, go watch the documentary. I'll put up the link and I'll go up and, yeah, just think about these two workers that lost their lives as I walk up to the new hut that's been built in their memory. See ya. Looking at this when I came in, I don't know if it's rock or something, just a weird sort of rock formation and a bit of a circle of grass in the middle of it. I don't know if we go up there. Here we go, Hunter's Hut. Bit of a table outside here. Looks nice on the outside. We'll go see what it's like inside. Oh, hey Emma. Can't complain about the view. Here's the point we've come down from. You can still see it right in the middle of my screen now. and down that river. So tiny little hut inside, but really nice hut, little 8-bedder. Well, I'll give it a go, but sitting there having lunch, you can actually see everything we've done. So I'll try with my hiking pole, but that's the saddle we climbed up to this morning. And if you look in this area here, you can see that's the scree slope we walked across. And that's the high point there. That's where I had a chat, wished my mum a belated happy birthday, spoke to my wife and both my kids, because I had reception up there. So that was really good, had a little video call with them. Then we found our way down through that bush. I'm not sure if we went in here or over this side and came down this into it here, but we followed our way pretty much down the valley and then down to the river. And it's just down here somewhere where we popped up to the hut. So you look at that, obviously we had to do the big climb to get up to the saddle on the right. And you realise if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, how far you can come, and that's half a day. Got here at 12 o'clock, so taking a lot of time with a lot of breaks to chat to family and that as well. So now we're off to Porter's Hut. It says 12 hours and then another 5 hours through the Red Hills. We may still try and do a triple hut, but I'll go and catch up with Emma on the trail. We'll get in, see what time we get into Porter's, and we'll make a decision from there. See ya. So the distance over to Porter's Hut, it's not a lot. But this is what you got to walk over, so that's why it takes 4 hours, just hopping rock to rock. Well, I always struggle in the afternoon sun, always have. But this little saddle here, that's what we just came over from Hunter's Hut. We've dropped down into that valley there, and now we're just coming up the other side again. We'll keep going. We're heading down there, and we're sort of, you start to notice that funny shaped scree on the top of the hill, and we've just come over that saddle there now, so it's 2 saddles. I know we got one more big climb, then we drop down to the next hut. So I just came over the next saddle. We're going to drop down into this valley and we climb out somewhere, possibly up through there, through that gap. We'll work it out as we go. So right in the middle of the screen's the last saddle we came out, and we sort of came down through the scree here, just crossed the river, so about to do a last climb before we then drop down to the next hut, which is Porter's Hut. Well, that was a pretty nasty little section of track, really scrubby, a lot of trees and stuff down over the track you got to clamber over. It's just hot sun coming down. Near the end there I got into that bush there, just on the left hand side. That was so nice just to get out of the hot sun. So now we're just going to scramble up here. And I'll zoom in here. You can see the marker here. This will be the top of our climb. Just up there, you can see the track going up and the little marker pole. Now there's a super kiwi down there. It's almost like another planet up here. Here's a triangle I told you about. I showed you from further down. So I'll just head on up. I can see another pole just up here on the left. And I'm thinking that must be me summit, surely. We'll get up there and see what the view's like on the other side. Well, there's the pole. This is the view over the other side. Pretty magical stuff. Quite a big mountain range in the background there. And if we come out, the track continues. You just see it disappearing down in here. So Porter's Creek Hut's the next one. And we're pretty much all downhill. If we decided to stay there, this is the last climb for the day. But I'll see how Emma feels. I think we've still got a bit of time. It said 4 hours. I reckon we might be making better time than that. 4 hours for this section, 5 hours for the next. We'll work it out. And this is life on the trail. You can see that hut. Then you get a bit closer and realise you've got to drop down into that valley, cross the stream, and climb out of it before you get to the hut, and it looks so close. Porter's Creek Hut, number 599. Boom, in orange. I love it. They've been giving some hut designs to architects recently, and they all make them blend in with the surroundings. So, I love this. You know, if you're desperate and you're coming and you just want your bed for the night, you see this thing in the distance. It's just like, yeah, cool. Anyway, what we got here? Here's our little wood shed. And we have to find the toilet somewhere. Must be down there somewhere. We'll go and find that. But anyway, let's have a little look inside, see if anybody's here. Another little 6-bedder layout that we're really familiar with. Bit of a clothes drying rack up there, and there's our intentions book. Oh, I'll chill out here. We'll wait for Emma. G'day everybody. So just summing up for the day. I'm going to stay the night at Porter's Creek Hut. I was 50-50. If Emma had wanted to push on and do a triple harder, I was up for it, but she actually wanted to stay here, and that made my decision really easy. I did have a bit of a look and thought, maybe I could just go and do another couple of hours or something if I could find a campsite and far out, but there was no mention of any campsites or anything. So we do have quite a big day tomorrow. We're going to get out to St Arnaud. It's 5 hours to Red Hills Hut, which is the next one. And then they're saying another sort of 5 hours or 6 hours to get out from there to the road, and then you've got another 2-hour road walk. So if those times are accurate, we've got a 12-13 hour day, but I think we'll do better. Once we get to Red Hills Hut, we actually go along a mountain bike sort of trail anyway, so the gradients and that won't be too bad. And then it's road walking. They're saying 2 hours for 8k. Well, generally I can get a slightly better pace than that. I've just got to be mindful when I get in range to start teeing up some accommodation and that for when I get to St Arnaud. I've got to get myself over to Nelson and obviously see logistically what's happening with my pack, my replacement pack, and when that's arriving. A bit of a resupply for Nelson Lakes. Check the long-range weather forecast, because that'll make my decision. If the pack's coming a few days later than I'd like, but the weather's not the best, well, it doesn't matter waiting around for the pack. But if there's really good weather, I might have to try and make some arrangements to get the replacement pack sent further down, because the dodgy stitching job I've done on the one I've got seems to be holding. But anyway, it was a good day today. Like, probably, especially this morning, those views I got, probably my most favourite day on trail so far. Really enjoyed it. It was pretty solid though, getting from Hunter's Hut over to this hut. That wasn't the nicest section, but it was still all right. So overall, pretty good day hiking. We'll check in again tomorrow, and we'll get ourselves out to St Arnaud and finish off the Richmond Ranges. See ya.